Why do women attract unemotional, unavailable partners? What old wound is creating and these repeated patterns? Would you like to uh, give us some examples so that people who are listening to our podcast, they might relate to our conversation?
So, say for example, you are in your family, okay, at home, you're a small girl, and your dad is very busy. He comes
Hmm.
home late, and he doesn't have time. He doesn't even say hello, beta. How are you? Nothing, nothing. There's no interaction. Okay. He in the morning he goes to work. You're not there. You've gone to school. There is very little interaction between him and you.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
don't even, you barely talk to him because you know on the occasion that you talk to him, he's angry, he'll shout at you for something, so you avoid this. Now, this is where you do not, he's emotionally unavailable to you.
Hmm. Yeah.
Now, this is something you're familiar with.
Yes.
This
Yes.
is how a man should be. This is your dad is your first example of what a man is. And invariably, you go and attract somebody similar to him
Hmm.
because this is home to you. This is what you know best.
Yes.
Now your husband also he'll be there. Maybe he has a little few different traits, but the basic thing is he will not bother to ask you, how are you? How was your day? Did you eat food? What did you do today? Because he's so busy in his own work, his own stress, his own tensions. He doesn't have the time and energy for what is going on in your life.
Hmm.
And he is not available to you for the little things, the things that you want to share with him. He's not available because he's too busy.
Yeah.
And today, it is more noticed that they would rather spend time on their phones and have a conversation with you because that is less stressful.
Yes.
So, I mean, and it is a problem. Lack of
Absolutely
communication, not being there for your wife, taking your wife for granted.
true. Right.
That, yeah. So that's how it
So,
works.
so the other question is like, if woman is constantly fixing, adjusting, and tolerating uh, her life in whatever way she's trying to, what part of her inner child is actually crying for help?
So once again, it's not being seen as a child, not being acknowledged. So
Hmm.
you, and also living in a chaotic environment where you want to keep the peace everywhere. So you will do what it takes to pacify everybody around you, to keep them
Hmm.
happy. So that is where people pleasing comes in. It is not something that you do out of love, it is something that you do out of fear. You
Yeah.
want
Yes.
to keep your husband happy, so you will cook the dishes that he wants to eat. Whether you like it or not, you don't like making it, but you will still cook it because you want to keep the peace. You
Hmm.
will do things for your in-laws to keep the peace. You
Hmm.
will bend backwards to, give your child something to keep the peace.
Hmm.
Whatever it is, in so many ways, even to pacify your boss in office, you will do the job, even though it is very painful and it's, you're not well or you're whatever, you'll bend backwards to do things.
Hmm.
Because that is the only way you are able to control your environment around you.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So all of, I mean, that's why I just believe that parenting is so important. When you do it right the first time, children are so much more secure when they grow up as against having to then repair and do healing and, repair the damage, so to speak. Yeah.
So you come across with a lot of women, right? So what is the biggest lie that women tell themselves just to survive? And how does this lie turn into a lifelong trauma?
So if you look at any woman everywhere, she's juggling so many things.
Hmm.
She appears calm, she appears totally capable, totally able to do everything.
Yeah.
The biggest lie is I can manage, which she can't, obviously, because deep down inside her nervous system is a wreck. She's surviving, she's struggling, and who does she tell her dreams, her needs, her frustrations, her anger? Who does
Hmm.
all of that come out on?
Hmm.
Who
Hmm.
does How does she, vent her emotions?
Hmm.
Who looks
Hmm.
after her while she's busy looking after everybody else? There's nobody, and nobody will ask because that's the front she's put on, that I can manage, I am strong, I am there for everybody else. But nobody is, because they know she's so strong, they're not going to bother and ask her, "Oh, Mama, how are you? Oh, how are you today? Did you eat? Did did you have fun? Or did you take a break?" Nobody's going to ask you that.
Absolutely,
As
absolutely.
long as everybody gets fed, everybody gets what they want, everyone's happy. And
Yes,
that's how she maintains the peace around.
true.
But he's there for her.
Yes,
And that's a sad truth.
right.
Yeah.
So, Sarita, now we will be having few rapid fire questions for you, right? And
Okay.
we want you to answer them rapidly. So, the first question I have for you is, if your inner child could talk today, what is that first thing she would love to say?
She would probably say, um, hug me and never let me go.
Amazing. Uh, if healing had a color, okay, what would it be for you right now?
I think it would be a lovely, beautiful lilac color.
Awesome. Great. One habit that you dropped secretly to transform your life. What is it? Would you like to tell?
It would be people pleasing.
People pleasing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing. All right. Uh, if you could send a message to yourself 10 years ago, just the woman you were then, what would it be?
I would just say, darling, hang on. Everything will be all right. Everything changes, nothing stays the same.
All right. So through your experience of learning so many modalities, especially, what is that one book you would really like our audience to follow, or any specific book that has transformed your thinking pattern completely? Would you like to recommend that?
So right now I'm reading this book by Dr. Joe Dispenza on how to change the habit of being yourself.
Uh,
And it's very profound and it's very insightful. And I think that is at the core of all change. So I really believe it's a little difficult to read because it's a lot, there are a lot of technical terms in it. But if you can, please read it. It will change your life. It will change your understanding on how you think and how it affects you.
All right. So, Sarita, we know you on a social media as a coach, psychologist, and inner child healer, Ho'oponopono, EFT, trauma generational coach. Apart from this, what is that one habit that your social media does not talk about or you love doing the most as a woman?
So as a woman, I'm very creative. I love to paint and anything creative. So whatever falls in that category, I love to cook and bake and dance and sing. So all creative things. That is what I love doing, and I do a lot of it in my day. So I make sure that every day is like happy, filled with little bits of all of this.
Great, lovely, lovely. Thank you. Thank you for answering those rapid fire questions. We still have few questions for you, and we would like to understand from you that what is one painful belief every woman needs to release from her subconscious if she truly wants to heal the life and live a kind of, have that freedom to do, be, and have anything she wants.
I think it is the limiting belief that I am not enough,
Hmm.
and that also stems from childhood trauma. But if you work on that and you work on ways to transform that, then I think you are a winner. Because once you start believing in yourself and you believe that you are worth so much more, then you will go ahead and achieve all of that.
Hmm.
But until you don't, you are going to be stuck and you're going to be playing it very small. So
Right.
I think it's, yeah.
All right. So you are helping women with your one-on-one expertise, right? We would really like to know about your healing community. How do you ensure that every woman who comes to you, she feels seen, she feels supported, and what kind of hand holding support you provide to women to transform their life to the next level?
So I believe in one-to-one because I believe everyone has a story to tell. Like your story will be very different from mine, although the fundamental details will be the same, like very similar, but your journey is different. What you have felt is different, and how to deal with that also is different. And I have attended many group sessions, many group mentoring, but I feel that it still makes a big difference when you are able to speak, when you give your trauma a voice and you let it free. So when I do one-to-one, I ensure that they are heard, and then there is hand-holding where I help them with different habits to help them move forward in a very positive way. So there's a lot of accountability. There's a lot of tasks on a regular basis. Every week they get a task more. Every day there's a follow-up message to ensure that it is done. And there's a lot of hand-holding. So, and it's a very safe space where people, women have just felt very secure and able to unload and grow and bloom from that. So that's how I help women heal.
Awesome. And what is your mission way forward?
My mission is to help as many women. I mean, I don't have a number, but to affect the lives or to help women heal and thrive. It's as simple as that.
Great. People who are listening to us right now in this podcast, right? I don't know where they are in their life right now. We are about to end 2025 and we are about to step into 2026, right? And I know for the fact that there are many women out there who are still in a survival mode, who are not able to take that first step towards their transformation. What is that one message from your heart that you would like to share with the listeners there?
I think that every step comes with a little courage. You have to say, no, I have to do this for myself, and just take that first step of, enrolling in a course or getting that mentor. I know there will be 1,000 things that will go on in your mind that, oh, it costs so much, or, am I doing the right thing? But go ahead anyway, because the transformation you will get at the end of it is something else. It will take you to the next level. And a lot of people don't appreciate or understand how it will change your life. But I have seen so many women transform, and it is absolutely amazing what you were and what you would transform into. So I urge every woman, do this for yourself, love yourself, and take that first step towards becoming a better version.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I personally feel that there are no shortcuts in life. Yes,
True.
it's only that when you start believing in yourself, that from here onwards you are ready to transform. I think that one decision, that even that one intention, universe will lead you to the paths, and you never know that how your circle gets connected, right?
Very true.
Absolutely. So, Sarita, thank you so much for being here today, for sharing so many valuable insights with all of us. And we wish you a very, very good luck for 2026. May you inspire more and more women out there, and you become a light for them, so that their life changes to 180-degree. Wishing you lots of success. And thank you once again for being here and sharing your insights.
Thank you so much, Anuradha, and I wish you all the blessings, all the same blessings. And it was really lovely doing this podcast with you. Thank you once again.
Thank you. If you enjoyed this conversation, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my podcast, and share it with your friends and family, one woman at a time. I'm on a mission to build a community of a thriving women. Thank you very much for taking your time to listening to this podcast, and I'll see you in the next show. Now go out there and do something that truly inspires you.